Great Thursday evening, April 22nd, 2021. To God be the glory for the closing of another day. I just heard the lyrics. All my purpose days and my goings and ways were written in your book. You saw plans for me, my true destiny. Yeah. He has written and he has planned each one of our days. Our Lord, our Creator, is up to us for us to acknowledge him and ask him, is this the way? And so we can please and accomplish what he wants us to do. There's a reason why we are still here in 2021 and we're not alive, or we weren't alive in 1921, maybe some of us, or 1821. There's a reason why we're here in this dispensation. There's a reason why we were not alive when King David was alive. And remember in the last chapter how it went over how Saul died and Jonathan and Saul's other sons, Jonathan's brothers. Well, in chapter 2 of 2 Samuel, it says that there were some men of Judah came in verse 4. And there they anointed David king over the house of Judah. And they told David, saying that the men of Judah, of Jabesh Gilead, were they that buried Saul. Now you see how David was such a valiant, courageous, brave man, not only because he was a warrior and he was a shepherd. And remember how it talked about how when he was a teenager, he tended to his, father's flock, and he, killed a bear and the lion. We know that. But there are some other characteristics of David that was very admirable. Now we know how Saul couldn't stand him. Saul was very insecure, and he multiple times tried to chase him and kill him. But then Saul would say, oh, my son. But then he would still try to kill him. Look, even after all of that, David still had the inner strength and fortitude to respect this man even in death. It says that in verse 5, David sent messengers unto the men of Jabesh Gilead, and he said, blessed be ye of the Lord, that ye have showed this kindness unto your Lord, even unto Saul, and have buried him. You have given him honor and respect, even though Saul was very disrespectful and dishonorable to me. But David was looking out for his enemy, even in death. Remember how he spoke very kindly of Saul and Jonathan. We knew that he loved Jonathan, but how he said in a lamentation about Saul and his son, how they were swifter than eagles and stronger than lions. Now he's blessing the people for burying him. And you know what happened to him. And it says now in verse 6, now he's going to reward these men for looking out for him. He said, and now the Lord show kindness and truth unto you, and I also will requite you this kindness, because ye have done this thing. Verse 7, this is for us. If we have some enemies, can we still bless them? Bless them that curse us. Pray for those who despitefully use us. Love our enemies. David is giving us the blueprint here, because he's still able to bless Saul even in his death. In verse 7, he said, therefore now let your hands, this is what we have to do, let our hands be strengthened, and be ye valiant, be fearless, be brave. Yeah, he was like that physically, but more so he was like that internally. He had that internal character, fortitude, and integrity. Do we have that? Woo, that's something. That is something. He said, for your master Saul is dead, and also the house of Judah hath anointed me king over them. He was ready at this point. What do you have to say about that, son? That inner character is priceless. Anybody can have the exterior, the muscles, the sculpted body as far as the chisel and the statuesque. You know, you see, we sometimes go to museums, Art Institute, and you see the statue of David and different other statues, and you see all these ripples, and yeah, that's great. But he had something internal that took him a long way, and it made him ascend to new heights because of his humility and honor of the Lord. And we will go to Proverbs 22. Well, I would say that David had a good name, and it says in verse 1, a good name. We read all about David all the time. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. And we know Solomon was a rich man, his son, but a good name, and it says, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. Yeah, I'd rather have what is internal, not the things that are going to fade away or will be distributed, you know, in an estate afterwards. But I want to be able to build myself up in the most holy faith so that we can impact others. And I know that that is your determination for this day. They that trust may be in the Lord. Yes, I have made known to thee this day. The Lord will make himself known to each one of us as we draw nigh to him and get strong in him. Be valiant, be firm, and love those who don't deserve it. Remember what David did with Saul, and we can do it too. Have a wonderful evening, getting rest in the Lord and getting strengthened for the next day.